lying down. Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. Thank you so much for being here, either live or watching this video. We're going to start tonight lying down. That is called Shavasana, corpse pose. Nothing to be worried about. I don't like saying the word corpse pose. I remember my teacher training, I was like, can I just call it Shavasana? I don't really want to say the English word. You're just going to lie down and feel free to use some props to support yourself, meaning different props that will go under your neck, maybe your low back, maybe your knees. And once you get into a comfortable place, take 3 rounds of breath. In through the nose and out through the mouth. As you're taking those breaths, imagine that you are filling up a balloon. And you're filling up that balloon on the exhales, eliminating any stress, tension, overwhelm, anxiety, sadness, grief, any unwanted feelings. I don't want to imply that any of those feelings are bad. They're normal feelings. It's okay to feel those things. The thing to be mindful of is when we stay stuck in those places, in those feelings. So just breathe in, release those feelings into a balloon. You can start breathing in and out of the nose, allowing the body to become softer. And when I say the body, that includes the skin, the muscles, going deeper to the bones, as the balloon becomes heavier with any unwanted emotions. Feel your body become lighter. Eventually, the balloon is full. You use both hands to secure the opening of the balloon by tying a knot. You look up to the sky and release the balloon. As the balloon starts to float higher and higher, there's an iridescent light that almost forms a tail from the floating balloon. that light represents the light within. The light that is now able to shine. Because even if for only a brief moment, you've allowed your mind and your body to be free. Without guilt, without judgment, but freedom. A sense of liberation. A different kind of strength from within. Just let the air come in and out of your nose. Traveling down through the throat, into your chest and belly. Let the air flow freely. Being grateful for this moment. Slowly start to deepen that breath. As you lie here on your spine, and slowly bring your right knee toward your right shoulder. Give yourself a little hug. Go ahead and put that right leg down. Bring the left knee to the left shoulder. Little hug. Good. And slowly roll to one side. If you don't have a bolster near you, go ahead and grab your bolster or a couple of pillows. Coming into a supported child's pose. I have what's called a bolster. You can pick it up on Amazon. You can also use 2 or 3 pillows. You're You're going to bring the props that you use right to your thighs. Take your knees out wide. You're going to stop it right at your thighs. When it hits your legs, you're done. Then you're going to lean forward. Rest your torso on to the bolster or pillows without sliding forward. Your head's not going to be hanging off of the bolster. You're going to be having your bottom toward your feet. You can look left or right. I'll come sideways so you can see what this looks like from the side. If you've got some challenges with your knees, I know some people do, you can always take this pose on your spine. It's called dead bug. When you take it on your spine, you can use your hands, bring your hands to your knees, open up the legs. This can be maybe a little deep for some people because your hands are actively opening up your legs. So I like to recommend the use of blocks. Of course, if you're in child's pose right now on a bolster, you can just be there in your pose and just ignore what I'm saying. But if you're coming into dead bug, I like to use blocks and then put them sideways next to my thighs on the floor. Kind of helps hold the legs up, so I've got my legs out wide, and then I relax. Sometimes the blocks will slide on the floor. So then my recommendation is to come near a wall, not right next to a wall or a door, and put your feet on that door, wall, whatever it is. Again, you might get a more intense stretch than you would if you were face down. So maybe bring the feet a little closer together. Maybe take your legs up a little wider and then drop them out, or higher I should say, and then drop them out. The idea is to stretch out the inner thighs. You're also creating a compression at both hip creases. But we're simply breathing in and simply breathing out. Enjoying our own brilliance, our own breath. Appreciating who we are. Allowing ourselves to be. Just slowly breathe in and slowly breathe out. The imagery today in the meditation the intention was, of course, to allow some of the heaviness that you might be holding on to. Not to judge whether good or bad reasons, just acknowledging, noticing. But the meditation was a practice in being able to take a moment and let the heaviness, the burdens, the stress, tension, so on, just kind of float away. Just for a minute or two. To train your body into knowing when it feels best. And then learning to cultivate that space for yourself. You have one more minute here. Take 2 more breaths. After those 2 breaths, you can slowly come out. You're going to be face down on the floor. So if you're already face down because you're on a prop, you can move those props down and come all the way down to the floor. Maybe bend your knees. Let your feet sway a little side to side. Coming into crocodile. Crocodile is one of my favorite poses. It's very subtle. Well, not for everybody, so I'm going to redact that statement. It may be subtle for some people, it may not be subtle for other people. Let's see, I'm actually going to come into this where you can see my feet to see exactly what's happening with my feet. I'm going to come down on the floor. Then you're going to flare your toes out. Maybe adjust the hips, the legs. You can make a pillow out of your hands, placing one hand on top of the other. You needn't worry about your heels touching the floor. Just let those heels be lifted. And then relax your hips into the floor. And slowly breathe in and out. So again, it can be a very subtle hip rotation. But it's one of my favorites. So the meditation was about finding a lightness within. Finding that space, giving yourself that space, and using your time. We always say we don't have enough time. I get it. I've used that expression as well. But it's important to know that we do have time It's just a matter of what we're allocating our time to. And there's no blame, no judgment, no guilt. Just be careful to put yourself, remember to put yourself on that to-do list. Today's story is very short. It's by Yogi Emrit Desai. It is entitled Delight in Waking Up. Believe in the goodness of your soul. Acknowledge how well it has guided you. And yet know that you will fall asleep along the way. When you sleep, take no delight in blaming yourself. Take delight in waking yourself up once more. Self-blame is the deepest injury, the deepest sleep of all. Wake yourself up with gentle affection. There's a quote at the end of this small poem by Jack Cornfield. I believe I have used this quote before. If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. Oops, sorry about that noise. Putting the heaviness of the burdens and other things in that balloon and allowing that balloon to float away. That is showing yourself compassion. That is choosing to wake yourself up with gentle affection, letting go of blame and guilt. You have 1 more minute here. Take 2 more breaths. And you're going to be face down for your next pose. So you can continue to stay right there. half a frog, one of my favorites, definitely one of my top 5. Place your bolster along the right side of your body or 1 or 2 pillows. You're going to place your right shin, the shin on your right leg, from your knee to your ankle on this prop or these props. Might be 2 pillows you've got stacked, maybe no pillows. Maybe it's too much and you want to be flat on the floor. That's fine too. You're going to take the left side of your body and move it as far as you can to the left to get as flat as possible onto the floor. So you're not, this isn't a side stretch at all. You're not leaning on one side. You are flat as much as you can be with that right leg lifted onto the floor. And then again, you can make a pillow out of your hands or use a small pillow or blanket. Take a slow breath in. Move your hips or your chest to get more comfortable if you need. Slow breath in and a slow breath out. Of course, we can come up with a laundry list of reasons of why we don't have time to slow down, show ourselves a little love and compassion. I get it. I've got 1,000 things going on too. But the truth of the matter is that when I do slow down from all the doing stuff, sometimes it does take work. Sometimes I will think, gosh, I shouldn't really be, I don't know, scrolling through social media. And there's a difference between doing that for 5 minutes or 5 hours. Whatever it is. But we have to find ways to recharge. We can't always be, quote, on. We've got to find the time also to be silent. They have that expression that the silence was deafening. And I was explaining to my son the other day that expression. He's like, I don't understand. The silence is deafening. How could something that's not making noise cause you to be deaf to where you can't hear anything? And so I took it from a different perspective and I said, well, we're so used to the sounds of the busyness, the noises that our phones make, the noises that our animals make, the people in our home, the sounds of the radio in our car. And when all of that is off, sometimes that silence can be louder than all of the noise and can feel overwhelming because we've become, and we're continuing to become, more and more programmed to have to be always on and doing. And there's such negativisms, so many negativisms around finding stillness and silence and self-compassion. He understood. He got it. He too has a hard time. You're in your last minute here. He has a hard time with silence. He feels that he does better with music. He loves music, always has, ever since he was a baby. For years, years and years and years, he listened to classical music every night and every nap. Take 2 more breaths. After you've taken those 2 breaths, you're going to slide that right leg off of your props, or if your right leg is straight on the floor, that's okay. Just move it over next to the left. Maybe you bend your knees and windshield wiper your shins left to right. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just lie down. Then go ahead and move any props that you used under your right leg over to the other side. Maybe you started with your left leg. That's okay. Move everything over to the right. Put that left shin, if you started with your right leg, place your left shin on top of your bolster. Move the right side of your body as far as you can go to the right without that left shin coming off of your prop or props. And take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. It's funny, when my son, I would say birth until about high school, of course, there were general lessons to teach, but most of the focus was on studies, making sure that he understood what was going on in school, and a lot of times we would have to read things over and study things over because things would happen too fast in school. And when he got to high school, he's like, no, I don't want to do that anymore, Mom. I regardless of what grades I might get, I want to be able to do, I'm going to get whatever I get in school on my own. And so I thought to myself, well, okay. And very shortly after, I thought the next thing that hit me was, well, I think I need to teach him what I have had to teach myself and what I teach others, which is just like today's passage, today's reading, having self-love, affection for the self, compassion. Knowing when to give yourself a break. And I think sometimes, gosh, if we could do that for all kids, right? Or even adults. Teach the skills, not just give the tools. So often people are given tools, but they're not taught how to use them, how to transform them into a lifelong skill. a skill of taking time out for yourself, taking care of yourself, loving yourself. And here's the most important part. Doing that, doing those things without guilt. We cannot give and help others if we're not giving to ourselves. I wish sometimes I could go back in time to try to find out, okay, when did it become like a bad thing to take care of yourself? When did that become selfish? Who started that? And without any judgment, I just would love to sit down and talk to them and say, what was your reasoning behind this? You know, because it spread like wildfire. And it's been going on for a very long time. What was your intention behind this? You know, I don't know. Sometimes I have a hard time thinking that it's our ego mind. Because if we are all about love, why is it so hard sometimes to love ourselves? When is it that, what point in our lives did we learn to not do that as much, or to not do it at all, or to think that we weren't worthy? But if you're here watching this video, you are doing just that. You are loving yourself. You are giving yourself compassion. And the good news is you only have to take one step at a time. You have one more minute here. Take 2 more breaths. Then eventually slide your leg next to the other leg. Slowly come up to a seat. You're going to use that bolster or those pillows again. Deer twist is where you're headed right now. In deer twist, You staggered the legs, so my legs are both making a capital letter, they're both forming a capital letter L. You can always stack those legs. Maybe you feel some pain on one hip. You can use a block or pillow in between your knees. I've got my bolster right up against my left thigh. You can use a couple of pillows. This is called deer twist, this pose. You're going to turn, keep your left thigh attached to the prop that you're using or props. Turn to face the prop. If you already feel a lot of a stretch in your low back, maybe your left hip, your left cheek, go ahead and stay right here. But you want to get to about 75–80% of a stretch, so you can always try and go down. If coming down all the way starts to cause pain, you can always put a pillow or a blanket on top. This will give more space so that when you come down, you don't have to go down as low and maybe no pain. Discomfort is okay. Not everything is going to feel good that's good for us, but I definitely would like you to avoid feeling any pain. So again, deer twist, left thigh, left pillows up against the left leg, turn to face that prop, so I've got my bolster vertical against my left leg that's horizontal. Twisting, coming down, you can look left or right, whatever works. And again, you can stack those legs, you don't have to stagger them. You can use a prop in between them if you feel any pain in the top hip. Slowly breathing in and breathing out. So for these last few moments together, let's just feel and absorb the lightness. The lightness of just being here, the lightness of the breath flowing in and out of our body, the lightness of not having any judgment of ourselves. To just breathe. Just allow your body to become soft. Just ever so slowly breathing in and breathing out. You've got about one more minute here. Take 2 more breaths. And after those 2 breaths, you're going to slowly come out of your deer twist. No need to rush. When you're ready, you'll move your prop to the other side. You will stack or stagger your legs. Make sure your prop is flush with your horizontal leg. Turn to face that vertical prop, and then slowly lower down, looking left or right. Once again, enjoying a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Feel this softness in your body. Just be. Staying with your breath. Letting any thoughts that come in that may be distracting, just kind of let them travel through. You know how a bus is kind of driving down the road and it'll start to slow down and pull over to a bus stop. It doesn't really stop because no one's there to get on and nobody wants to get off. So it kind of pulls over to the right but just keeps going. Go ahead and let those thoughts kind of pull your mind over for a second or two, but just keep going onto this path of relaxation and softness and self-love. Being intentional with your breath. Give about 1 more minute here. Being ever so soft with your body. Sometimes we've got to check back in and make sure that we're not activating or squeezing muscles or different things. See if you can just melt into your poses. ahead and travel now that you've come up, readjusted your body. Go ahead and travel over to your wall, door, whatever you've got. We're going to take legs up the wall. Bring any blankets or a small pillow. I say small because you're going to have your legs up the wall, and it might not be comfortable to have a big fluffy pillow that pushes your head up the whole time. If anything behind your head, make sure that you've got support for that C curve right here in the cervical spine, the neck. So what I will do sometimes is I will take a thicker part of a fold on a blanket, and I will put that thicker part under my neck to support that hump. Your hands can be on your belly. You can also place a pillow or a blanket on your belly, kind of like giving yourself a hug. Try to relax the legs. They might move, feel like they're going to slide a little to one side or the other. You can always separate them a little wider if you feel like you need some space. You can reach those arms over your head or take them out to a T, the letter T. Just take what serves you right here. And what does that mean? We usually move through the day doing things that will serve somebody else, which is amazing, which is awesome. But for right here, right now, you might hear a little noise. I'm going to close my window. Take a moment to do or not do that which serves you. Begin to deepen your breath, going back to this moment. Bring some light into your fingers, your toes, by taking some wiggles. You can bring your knees towards your chest. Maybe turn to one side or the other. Eventually coming up to a seat. Bringing your hands together at your heart. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. It was my honor and my privilege. Please lift your hands to your lips. I ask that you speak words of kindness and compassion, not just to others, but to and about yourself. Take your hands to your eyes. I ask that you see the beauty and love in others, but also that which lies within you first. And lastly, take your hands to your third eye center. Go and be the best you that you can be, because there is only one you. Compassion. You deserve it. Deep breath in. Exhale as we bow forward to seal our practice and honor each other. Blessings and namaste.